Ian Tadashi Moore is a father, designer, musician, and artist from Southeast Michigan. He grew up talking to the bugs in the back lawn and plinking melodies on piano keys. That's from his website. He likes the sounds words make and will probably never act his age. He writes, illustrates, and records stories of joy, mindfulness, courage, and resilience for all ages. One reviewer of his award-winning book, Where the Little Things Live, wrote, "This is a book that should be on every young reader's shelf, and adults should read it out loud, even in quiet moments and secluded spaces, only to themselves." So, in addition to Where the Little Things Live, he has written and illustrated Zoshan and Tamashi. I'm sure I'm pronouncing those wrong. Ian will get a chance to correct me in just a minute. I think there's another book in the works, so we've got a lot to find out. Welcome, Ian.
Hello.
Okay, first of all, how do you pronounce the two books that I probably did
First
badly?
one was not far off. Zosan.
Okay.
Zosan meaning sort of a formal Japanese for elephant. Or, as my son pointed out, it doesn't really mean Zo is elephant and San is three, and there are three elephants in the story, but he figured that out. You can't translate that literally, but it's kind of fun to know that the title also means three, could mean three elephants. I mean, sort of. I think that's cool.
So your
Uh,
son is keeping it real, keeping you
yeah,
honest.
yeah. The second was Tamaishi, which is a Tama and Ishi. That's stone and oh gosh, I already forgot what Ishi means. Ishi is stone. Tama is like a diamond in the rough kind of thing. That's what the whole thing means. So it is a story of finding yourself a little bit and discovering who you really are and accepting yourself. And it seemed like an appropriate title, even if it's not uh, immediately apparent.
Are you fluent in Japanese?
Heck no. But I love it. I've studied it, off and on the last 20 years. I'm on Duolingo. I have a 960-day streak. Um,
Ooh.
but I can't, I'm not even literate. You need to know like 2000 kanji just to be literate, and I'm nowhere near that. But
Well, let's talk about your family background because it's a little unusual and it relates to the stories and the illustrations that you create, right?
yeah, I mean, I'm sort of leaned into it. Maybe it was not fully intentional, but there is a Japanese folk song about a little elephant called Zosan. And I heard that, ironically, on an American folk singer CD when my eldest kid was one, two. This was back in 2015. No, he was older than that. He was like three or four. But I had never heard it before, and I was like, that's a really cool song. I mean, it's very short. It's just elephant. You have a very long nose. Yes, my mother has a long nose too. Uh,
Oh, oh, that's cute.
yeah. So I originally started off writing a children's picture book. I'd sketched that out. But my kid's 4 years old. I'm tired. I put it away for a while. Rediscovered it when he was four. No, that's right. Heard it when he was born, 2011.
Hmm.
Rediscovered these drawings in about 2014, and I was like, I got to do something with this. But it ended up being a long story rather than just a picture book, like 5,000 words.
Oh, that is a long story for a children's book.
Well, yeah. I mean, what, a children's books top out at 200, 300 words, maybe.
Hmm.
Uh, but think of it more of a chapter book or middle grade book. I mean, I learned about all that when I started writing. I didn't know any of these terms really, what the definitions of these different genres meant. I know them. I don't know if I totally subscribe to all of them. I just want to write a book, so I don't necessarily want to fit into definitions of what that means.
Hmm. Now, you started writing when your two sons were very young, right? You said four, but
Second wasn't even born yet in 2011. So,
so you were writing for them in a way?
oh, absolutely. I mean, when um, it was early on. This is for them. I wanted to print a book that they would sort of remember me reading to them every day. Um, yeah, it was really just for them. My goal was to make a book um, that they could keep forever, not necessarily get published in that sense.
Now they're teenagers now, though. Do they really appreciate what this legacy you've got for them?
No, probably not yet, or at least not. They have their minds on other things right now, which is totally understandable. But I was thinking, quite frankly, very long term. Like
Mhm.
I look at stuff that my grandfather. I have a letter on my ceiling, and my ceiling has magnets on it. There's a letter from my grandfather up there. I look at it every once in a while.
Oh,
So family history is sort of important.
I'm kind of thinking that if they have children of their own, then maybe someday they'll be reading your book to those children.
That would be the goal. And also, see, important as I recorded audiobooks for all of these. So I'm narrating the whole book. I have Christine, my wife, Christine. She's a character. Actually, in one of them, Elliot and Marcel are both voicing something. So it's a full-on production. I mean, I
It's
have
a whole family project.
sort of. I mean, I'm mostly the narrator. Christine's definitely a big part. They were little, so they had little parts in it. I actually had to hire a friend of mine's son. He was about 10 at the time, and he
Mhm.
played Zochi, the little elephant. He did a great job. He's U of M now.
Oh, and
Yeah.
that's true. They grow up. You're still writing though, books that are geared toward younger readers, are you not?
Again, the genre, the age range, I don't know. Yes, kids and grown up kids. Like I still read middle grade books. I think the cadence of the words and everything about a middle grade book is just more entertaining for me. I've tried reading a few adult novels. They're fine. It's not
Hmm.
like I won't read it, but yeah, still writing. They're aimed at middle school to maybe sixth to eighth grade or somewhere in there. Just depends. I mean,
That was an exciting reading time for me. I mean, I got to
right.
travel to other places and meet characters I never knew in real life. So yeah, there's good
Right,
stories for that
you're
age.
not too jaded yet. You're not trying to read really heavy young adult novels that seem to be out there. I mean, I've read a couple of them, and one of the first things that always happens, somebody dies. I'm like, I don't want to read about that. I get why it's a thing. The genre is supposed to be more mature and get kids to think about heavy issues. I just, I like I wrote more books, I started to deal with a few more complicated things, death even in the third book, but it's very abstract. It's not like a character dies; he just kind of floats off, and it's
Is that
very sad.
is that the feather?
That's the balloon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
red.
I got to catch up with all these. Let's talk about your illustrations because your style is very, very distinctive. How did you develop that? And do you have training as an artist?
Yeah, I went to school at U of M, but didn't really never, frankly, believed I could do it until I got to college. I mean, everybody around me in middle school was a better drawer than me. So I just kind of focused on music. But when I got to college, took one graphic design course, and I was like, this is fun. So I started doing that. Had to take drawing courses. I did my first still life, and I still have it somewhere in this house. I just remember staring at that for days because, like, I can't believe I just drew that. And that's a lot of the case with a lot of my work. I'll be in it, you'll be in it drawing,
Mhm.
and you're like, this sucks. Wow, I can't do this. And you walk away, and then 2 days later, you go, who did this?
Hey, that's
um,
pretty good.
yeah. I think it's an essential part of the artist, whether it's writing or drawing or anything like that. You got to step back because your inner mind can get way too critical, and
Oh,
that's a
when
good
I'm writing
thing.
something, I think it's terrible.
Oh
And
yeah, it's terrible.
finished, I'm like, woo.
But on the other hand, you don't want to totally rely on external validation, right? You want to be able to say that stuff yourself. So step away from it, and then you're kind of a different person when you come back to it, I think.
Oh,
Even
I
if
want to
it's
circle back briefly to something you said just because if people are outside of Southeast Michigan, you said you went to U of M, and that, of course,
oh,
is the University of Michigan.
University of Michigan, go blue.
Okay. Now, you mentioned turning your books into audiobooks. Why was that important to you?
There was a company when I was a kid called Jabberwocky, appropriately named. They made a whole bunch of audio books on cassette. I don't know how many of the people listening to this remember cassettes, although they seem to be having somewhat of a renaissance. Vinyls there.
Really?
I've seen cassette players for sale. Um, you know, it's a Walkman all over again, but still have one. It's Alice in Wonderland, and I can't believe that tape's not worn out because I listened to that constantly. I loved the way they told the story. There was incidental music. There were multiple actors. They were all, they had to skip over parts because it was only, I think they skipped from the part with the pig and the kid turning into a pig all the way to the Mad Hatter scene. But I loved the way they did it, and that kind of stuck with me. And then when I was in middle school, I have a cassette of Jack Nicholson and Bobby McFerrin telling Just So stories,
What?
right?
Wow.
Uh, and I listened to that all day long because it would be Jack Nicholson reading the story, and then in the background, Bobby McFerrin's making sound effects. He's doing music. It's amazing. It's still
What a
amazing,
what a team.
right? And they only did those two stories, I think. That was it. Um, but when I came back to when I was writing this stuff, I kind of always I knew I wanted to do that. Like in fifth grade, uh, my fifth grade teacher, Ms. Kevra, let me do book reports on tape. So I've kind of always been attracted to voice recording and cassettes. You could speed your voice up slow. It was fun.
Don't your audiobooks though lose a little bit because the people don't get the illustrations that they get with the physical books?
You could argue that, although they are more or less unabridged. I try and make them almost exactly like the books, and it's a different sort of experience because there's multiple actors. I composed music for them, and there's with headphones on, you are in a place. That's what I always liked about all of these audiobooks I used to listen to is you felt like you were there. So sort of, but I think there's enough going on there with the characters and the way the voice acting goes and the music around and the sound effects. It really it's all in your mind's eye now.
Now you do something interesting. When I self-publish a book, yeah, I go on Kindle, and I say, yeah, I use white paper, da da da. I don't care that much about the process itself. You do. Can you describe how you get the physical books made?
So coming from a graphic design background, I got a real taste for, good papers and offset printing and all that kind of stuff. As a designer, you kind of do that stuff in school. It's all cut and paste work, and you really care about the way the type is kerned. So when I wanted to print this, that's the way I wanted to approach it. And, uh, I did try and find publishers and whatnot. That seemed like a very dead end road for me because that's a long process that I fear if I had really stuck to that, I would have never had a book on paper. Now, this was I could have gone with Kindle, I suppose, or like electronic, but because I appreciate the physical artifact, and that was something that I wanted to give to my kids, that this is the story on paper. Um, that's why I pursued it that way. And because I didn't have a publisher, I went on a platform called Kickstarter. Well, I say it like nobody knows what it is. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but basically crowdfunding.
Hmm.
And said, I'm making a book. And um, gave the pitch in a video with my kid, Ellie and Marcel are talking there with me. And um, I actually did something a little crazy. I had the whole book letterpress printed because it was a one color book. Right. I had a printer out in Portland print the 36-page book on a letterpress.
What I don't know what that means. What?
So every page is printed on hand printed. There's a page, and there's like old Gutenberg style. You know what I
Wow.
mean? Because frankly, I thought that's it. I'm gonna write one book. That's my legacy. Done. But what was it? I think about a year later, I started getting other ideas. It just started to creep up on me. It took 2.5 years, I think, to print the next one, write the next one, edit it. That kind of has kept going for the last decade, sort of.
And you've done some live events. Why do you do that? And what is it like? Are you still doing it too?
I try and limit it because life is busy, but I do like being in a physical space, showing people the book. My favorite one was downtown at Eastern Market in Detroit. They had a Power of the Press event that I
Oh.
forget how I heard about it. Maybe I do have my stuff in their shop, prints and whatnot, but um, people that were there picked up my book and said, "I love the paper you're using." Like they understood what I was trying to do here.
Hmm.
So I enjoyed talking to people about it, showing them the artwork. I don't know, there's something about a live event that's really satisfying.
Do you sell a lot of books there?
Nope. I
No.
mean, I might send a handful here or there. I've got boxes of them behind me, but that was never really the goal to necessarily sell them all like that. Like I
Hmm.
had raised the money on Kickstarter, so I already paid for the books. So selling them just means I make all the money back. I guess it's not even making the money back. I just don't need to do it that way.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about where all the little things live. It's gotten a lot of attention. As I mentioned, it won awards, and it is described as a story of friendship, courage, and self-discovery for young readers and the young at heart. And it's Nio, is that the way it's
Yep,
pronounced?
Niall.
Nio the feather is a lonely lost feather in the valley in a terrible storm. I got all caught up in this when I was reading it. A terrible storm sweeps her into the sky where she learns her origins and the true nature of the clouds. And apparently, the little feather struggles with some real fears. Now, you talked a few minutes ago about how you have included a reference to death, but how do you write authentically for younger readers without being too scary?
Being too scary. I'll be honest. If I don't know, I did have some feedback from one reader that thought the audiobook was too scary, like right from the get-go, because there's some ominous music. So to say that I've tried to approach it from that angle probably isn't true. I, I just write what I like. I don't necessarily put it in front of focus groups and say, "What do you want?" I know that's a very different approach to writing. I just That's the way I've chosen to do things. I don't get a lot of feedback on the books, people telling me it was too scary or anything. So maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I actually don't know.
I'm kind of envious of you. I mean, I'm online a lot in various writing communities, and everybody's sending their books out to ARC readers to get feedback. And we've all got to figure out what genre it's in so we can promote it that way. And you just seem to have a freedom about your books.
I mean, the thought of all that does just make me anxious.
Me
It's
too.
not that I don't want to write just for myself, but like I don't want to rely on any of that. I don't think I have the constitution for it. I frankly don't think I have the constitution to write to publishers and just get smacked back. I know that most writers go through a very long slog of submit, 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 nothing, nothing, nothing. I wanted to make it happen.
I'm in
And
that process
so,
right now.
if it's
Yeah.
good, it's bad. I don't know. I don't care because it isn't my job. So that may be part of my luxury here is that I raised the money to print it, so I'm not necessarily going totally in the hole, and it's really a hobby for me rather than my occupation.
You get to write what you want to write, how you want to write it.
Yeah,
Ugh.
like I'm in seventh grade again. I mean, not. I love hearing feedback. I wish I heard more, but I don't seem to connect with people that have read it. The few that have seem to like it.
It sounds like it from what I've read online. And we talked, are you working on another book?
I am. It's been probably 5 years now. It's very slow, but that's partly because it's much more ambitious. It's a more of a young adult novel. My editor has told me we're going to put it in that bucket because it's nearly 100,000 words and very, very deep. Much more character development, um, I think, than the other two. The other two are probably more, or the other three are probably more plot driven, although there's definitely character development in all of them. Um, but yes, it's called Raquel and Finn, and it's about a raccoon and a dog who aren't a country dog, city raccoon, not supposed to have anything to do with one another, but they cross paths because of life events that happen to both of them in a very unexpected place, actually. And it's about their journey together.
Now, these are animal characters, but do your sons and your wife, do they inspire anything in your books?
They definitely have inspired stuff in the first three. To say in this one, uh, I don't know if there's any real direct connection there. I I mean, it's weird because the story, all I thought of was Raquel Raccoon, and that was it. Right, that was the spark 5 years ago. I was like, wrote that down, didn't do anything with it for probably a year, and then just started writing. Who is this raccoon? What's she doing? And with the help of the editor, she's evolved quite a bit. She's much more complex than just a raccoon that likes to collect things, but she's, kind of like Ariel, the Little Mermaid. She's fascinated with human stuff in the world. And that was really, at the start, that was the story. But it has blossomed out from there quite a bit, I think.
What if you had a publisher reach out to you and say, I'd like to publish your book, but I want to make some changes?
I mean, I would entertain the idea. I certainly would talk to people, but that is exactly what I don't want to do if I don't have to. And I feel like at this point, I mean, I don't know that when I'm finished with this book, I'm going to try Kickstarter again. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Maybe I'll fail and I'll have to pay for it myself or pay for half of it. I have no idea, but I don't feel the need to compromise. I don't want to, I guess, if I don't have to. One way or another, I'll make this happen, I think.
Any idea what the timeline for Raquel and Finn is going to be? I know you said it's, but you're already up to 100,000 words?
Maybe 80, 90 now. I'm through editing. There's 16 chapters in total. I'm at 13 right now. I thought it was going to be done in 2025. My editor kind of chuckled and said, "Yeah, keep going." So here we are, mid 2026, and not probably not for another year, I would bet.
So I need clarification. You're talking about I write what I want to write, and you just mentioned your editor. Who is that?
Oh, Sherry Roberts. I used to work with her at a nonprofit 10 years ago
Is
now,
she
maybe
a
15.
freelance editor or is she with a publisher? What is her?
I know she's published several books. She's got a whole series. I think at this point she's more of a freelance editor. She does not take on a lot. She takes on what she wants to take on. I don't but yeah, she helped me edit the two Where All the Little Things Live in Tamaishi to some extent, but this one I'm really paying her to go through chapter by chapter, and she isn't so much telling me what to write as just giving me feedback and letting me let it evolve. She's very, I don't know, she's just the right type of editor for me. She's not being didactic at all.
Okay, I'm just surprised that you're going with an editor and it's probably very helpful.
It is. And it may have helped for the other ones. I just kind of couldn't afford that process back then. Or this book is so big that I kind of needed help just from uh, an organizational standpoint of how do you, how do we keep track of all these events? I mean, that's a whole job unto itself. I'm realizing. I don't know how people do it with 20 characters and multiple timelines. I mean, there's tools for that, like Scrivener, and I actually downloaded a timeline thing, which is helping. But I'm not. I don't know. I'm not using it like I probably should. But all of this is helping me manage this much bigger project.
I keep messing up the names. I'll change names like midway through, and I like this name better for this character, but
Oh yeah, done that already a few times.
yeah, and it's pretty easy to do if you're just typing away in Word, but it doesn't occur to me to, yeah, yeah,
Well, you want to be in that state,
right.
being in that flow, and then you can always fix it later. I mean, that's been the hard part recently. It's hard to get time to really flow, and as soon as I do it, something's happening. I got
Well, let's talk about that because I do want to find out about your other creative avenues. I know you're a musician, but what is your day job? Do you get to be creative in that too, or are you like many of us with sort of a big separation there?
I would say it's not a huge separation. I mean, I'm a UX designer at the university, so
Explain that to those of us who are
oh,
ignorant.
user experience designer. So I work largely in software. I think how software works or how a web page. A lot of people think it's just UI, which would be user interface and what it looks like, but it really is how it behaves and how it communicates with the user. Like we've all had something where you're trying to use something and you have no idea what's going on. It's broken. There's no feedback from the computer. My job is to help make software and hardware not do that, mostly software right now. But
You're pretty much describing my everyday with the
yeah,
with the computer.
yeah.
Uh,
So it's
and
a
I
little bit of graphic design, a little bit of
okay.
software development. I collaborate with a lot of different people, behavioral scientists for the last 15 years. It's been behavioral scientists, dedicated developers. We do a little bit development as UX designers, but we're sort of what they call the front end development, whereas I'm not doing databasing and server setup and all that stuff. We have a whole nother team for that. But that's the day job. That's what keeps the lights on.
I love talking with really smart people. That's why I do this podcast. I get to talk with people smarter than me. Uh, let's talk about your music. What is that about?
I mean, that was my first love. I thought I was going to be a concert pianist, right? I started playing piano at 6, 5, I think, because my brother was playing. I was like, I'd be like my brother. Um, but he quickly realized he didn't like that. He's definitely, oh, and there's a phone call. I started when I was 5 and kept playing all through college. Actually, I graduated with a music degree and a art degree from U of M, in what is called performing arts technology. So you can kind of guess that's both music and computers. Basically,
Mhm.
it started out as all just synthesizers and stuff, but I had to take theater classes. I hung lights. I ran light boards. I had to take an engineering class. I learned how to program, but the core of it was music, and I've always loved music, and actually I always liked to compose, just sit on the piano and start plunking melodies out. So uh that combined with this memory of all these audiobooks, I wanted to sit down and create that experience. And it's in the same vein as the writing. I'm not answering to anybody. This is my music, right? So I don't have to worry about what anybody. I went through some composition classes. It's very stuffy, I guess is the best word I can say. The feedback wasn't always great. It was like, this isn't good enough, but I didn't want to deal with that anymore. Just want to enjoy it.
On your website, you've got a list of ways that people can support independent authors. Can you give us the short version of that?
Ooh, I wrote that so long ago. I don't remember what it says.
Well, it
uh,
starts with buy their books, which
well,
is
yeah, buy the
always
books.
good.
That's certainly a vote of confidence. Spread the word. I mean, that's probably the best thing that's helped me is people go, "Hey, look, I read this book," or uh, "No, I actually can't. I don't have that memorized."
If I recall, you hit heavily on things like reviews. Write a review, rate it.
Oh,
That does alert other people to it.
I think when I wrote that, I actually believed it. Maybe I don't anymore because that's why I've forgotten. I mean, I think it can help. I bet it can help if I tried harder, but you know how tired I am of social media right now. I'm
Oh, yeah, yeah, I get
so
there.
over it. The noise is so great I mean, that's why part of the reason I like live events. Live events are one on one. You have people's attention usually, but the online sphere is just, it's like cutting through smoke. You can't. I don't know what ratings mean anymore to anybody. I mean, things are usually either 5 stars or 1 stars. I mean, um, so I suppose in the sense that it can help, I have some ratings on Goodreads, for example. How much has that helped me sell any books? Probably not much at all.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
we
that's
have the
because I'm not really
illusion.
invested, right?
Yeah.
So if you put the time in, I bet it helps. I do not. So
No,
maybe
what we're supposed to do on social media is nuts.
I'm not a salesman. I mean, I do. If people ask me what my book's about, I still don't have my elevator pitch really solid. It took me forever to write those synopses.
Oh,
They're
wow.
hard. They're harder than the book.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. I agree.
It's torture.
I
I
struggle with
love them.
that. What advice do you have for other creatives? Notice I didn't say for other writers because you encompass so many different areas of creative pursuit. What advice do you have for others, though?
I There's a couple books. One's called The Creative Struggle. The other one is, I can't remember the name, and it's sitting on my shelf. And read about other creative struggles because I think it normalizes the fact that you're trying to do anything like this. It's hard. Um, and it has its ups and downs. Like one day what you're doing feels like utter crap, and then the next day you come back and like, who did this? Uh, you play the long game. I mean, just believe you're going to get somewhere, and that helps you stick with it because it's such a roller coaster ride trying to create anything. Um, and I just was reminded too, David Bowie had a video. He's artists should do what kind of what they want. Like if you're doing stuff for other people, you're not really doing your best work. I kind of tend to agree with that. It's hard because you might get flatly rejected by a lot of people. Um, but at least you're being true to what you want to do. Uh, I know that's hard, especially if you're trying to make money off of it.
Or if you're just trying to get recognition.
Yeah,
Think
I
of the
mean,
artists who died and then became well known
oh,
for their accomplishments.
yeah, I mean, I guess that's probably very healthy perspective to have. I mean, it's not a very optimistic one, but it's very healthy in that a lot of artists don't get recognized until they're gone. So why worry about this? Just do what you want to do. Um, but easy for me to say because if you want to do this for your subsistence, that's a very difficult path. I frankly don't think I could do it that way. I had to have a backup plan, have a job, and do this thing. Maybe it means I'm less prolific than I would be. Maybe it means I'm more prolific than I would be. I have no idea. It seems to be working so far, but I think the underlying message is really just try and be more true to yourself than just make everybody else happy with what you're doing. Because ultimately, it's about the process. I've discovered less than the final product. Like the book is nice, it's an artifact of all the work you put into it, but really what you're doing as an artist is trying to be in that space where you're your best self making something. I don't care if it's woodwork or cooking or drawing or writing or whatever, right? If you really stop and think about, all of us that do creative things are we're happiest when we're doing the thing, I think. And you're not worried about what's somebody going to think about this. I mean, that's what kids do. Kids sit down with a crayon, they just start drawing, they love it. And then you go to art school and then you get told everything's terrible unless you do it a certain way, and then you have to unlearn all of that.
Oh,
It's such a journey. um, like, I went through music school. I don't play like I used to because I'm still a little anxious about sitting down at a piano because it's a lot of work. Now I cannot discount what I went through, competitions and playing with it was worth it in the sense that I became a better player. Going to art school made me a better artist, but the mental degradation that happened to me, and I think it happens to a lot of artists, is recovery. You got to recover from some of that. Maybe that's partly my personality. Some people are maybe better at shielding themselves from that than others. More power to them.
I bet a lot of people experience that though.
I think is very. I mean, that's why I say read other people's experiences. The creative struggle is a great one. The cartoonist writes about Mary Shelley, the author of Frankenstein, and a bunch of other creatives. You see that this is it is a struggle. It's hard.
And that's a dire but good place to end.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ian Tadashi Moore. We're going to have links to your works in the show notes. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk with
Oh,
me.
thank you.
I enjoyed it.